I'm Emma Carter, 18, the invisible backbone of the Carter family in Willow Creek, Oregon. The rain battered the kitchen window, each drop a tiny fist against the glass, as if Willow Creek itself was trying to break through the walls of our crumbling family home. I stood at the sink, hands submerged in soapy water, scrubbing the same plate for the third time. My phone vibrated on the counter, its glow cutting through the dim, flickering light of the bulb above. My heart stopped as I read the email's subject line: Stanford University admissions decision. With trembling fingers, I opened it. "We regret to inform you." The words blurred. My application, every late night, every perfect test score, was incomplete. My future, my escape from this suffocating town, slipped through my fingers like the rain outside. Hope you enjoyed this story. Leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear where you're watching from. Now let's continue with the story. For years, I've been the one who keeps this house running, cooking, cleaning, organizing, while mom and dad pour their energy into my younger sister, Lily. She was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome at 7, and since then, my life has revolved around her needs. My dreams, they're just background noise. But Stanford was supposed to be my way out, my ticket to a life where I wasn't just the reliable daughter. I spent years building a 4.2 GPA, acing the SATs, earning glowing recommendations from teachers who saw the fire in me. And now, this email, incomplete. It didn't make sense. I set the plate down, my hands shaking so hard I nearly dropped it. The kitchen smelled of Mom's apple pie, a weak attempt to keep up our small town traditions. But the sweetness felt cloying, like a lie. Outside, the Willamette Valley stretched dark and endless, the apple orchard swallowed by the storm. Inside, the dining room hummed with the usual chaos. Mom adjusted Lily's water glass, her voice soft and soothing. "Feeling okay, sweetie?" she asked, barely glancing at me. Dad, hunched over his plate, muttered about his charity board nomination, his fork scraping like nails on a chalkboard. Lily, 16 and pale, sighed dramatically, clutching her temple. "My head's killing me again," she said, her voice a practiced whine. I forced my lips into the smile I'd perfected over years of family dinners, the one that hid the hurricane in my chest. "Stanford rejected me," I said, my voice steady despite the ache. Mom's eyes flicked up, then back to Lily. "Oh, honey, that's probably for the best. Those big schools are so far away, and Lily needs you here." Dad grunted, not looking up. "Willow Creek Community College is solid. You can help with Lily's appointments. It's practical." Practical? The word they always used to chain me to this life. Lily perked up, suddenly bright despite her headache. "We could be study buddies, Emma. Wouldn't that be fun?" Fun. I wanted to scream. Instead, I nodded, my smile a mask. "Yeah, sounds great." But my mind was racing, incomplete. I'd triple-checked every document, every deadline. I'd stayed up until dawn perfecting my essays, weaving stories of growing up in Willow Creek, of wanting to make a difference beyond these orchards. Something was wrong. My phone buzzed again, a text from my best friend Mia. "You okay?" "That rejection sounds off. Check your dad's office. He always grabs the mail first. Mia knew me better than anyone, knew the weight I carried in this house." Her words sparked a flicker of suspicion like a match in the dark. I glanced at the dining room. Mom was now fussing over Lily's plate, cutting her chicken into perfect bites, while Dad droned on about his charity's latest fundraiser. They didn't see me, not really. They never had. To them, I was Emma, the capable one, the one who didn't need attention. But tonight, that invisibility was my weapon. I excused myself, claiming I needed to finish the dishes, and slipped into the kitchen's shadows. The rain's rhythm matched my pulse as I dried my hands, my eyes drifting to the hallway. Dad's office was at the end, a locked drawer holding the family's secrets, bills, tax forms, and, I suspected, the truth about Stanford. I gripped the counter, my knuckles white against the worn wood. The house creaked under the storm's weight, its old bones groaning like my own resolve. I'd always been the good daughter, the one who sacrificed dance recitals for Lily's doctor visits, who gave up sleepovers to manage her medication schedule. But Stanford was mine, the one thing I dared to want. And now, it was gone. Or was it? Mia's text glowed in my mind. Dad's office, the locked drawer. The combination was Lily's birthday. Because of course it was. Everything in this house revolved around her. I took a deep breath, the air thick with the scent of rain and dish soap. The dining room chatter faded as I moved toward the hallway, my sneakers silent on the hardwood floor. The office door loomed ahead, its brass knob glinting faintly under the flickering hall light. My heart pounded, each beat a question. What would I find? A mistake? A glitch? Or something worse? Something deliberate? The thought made my stomach twist, but I couldn't stop now. I needed answers, even if they broke me. As I reached for the knob, a floorboard creaked behind me. I froze, my breath catching. Was it Lily, watching from the shadows? Or just the house settling under the storm? I didn't turn to check. The truth was waiting, and I was done being the daughter who waited for permission. Tonight, I'd find out what they'd hidden from me, and what it would cost to take it back. The office door creaked as I pushed it open, the sound swallowed by the storm raging outside. Moonlight spilled through the window, casting long shadows across Dad's pristine desk, where his charity pamphlets were stacked like a shrine to his public image. My pulse thundered in my ears, louder than the rain hammering the roof. I'd been in here countless times, organizing his files, labeling folders for his tax documents. But tonight felt different, like I was crossing a line I couldn't uncross. The locked drawer in the filing cabinet called to me, its secrets heavier than the air in this old house. I knelt before it, my fingers trembling as I punched in the combination. Lily's birthday, July 14th, 2009. The lock clicked and my breath caught. I pulled the drawer open, the metal scraping like a warning. Inside, folders were neatly arranged, just as I'd left them last summer when I'd helped Dad sort his charity's budget. But there, tucked behind a folder labeled Donations in Greenwich, was a thick envelope, its Stanford seal glinting in the dim light. My heart stopped. I reached for it, the paper cool against my fingers, already opened. Dear Miss Carter, congratulations. We are pleased to offer you admission. The words hit like a punch. I'd gotten in. I'd actually gotten in. But beneath the acceptance letter was something else, a withdrawal form dated 2 weeks ago with my signature scrawled across it. Except I'd never signed it. The loops were too perfect, too deliberate. Mom's handwriting, trying to be mine. I sank to the floor, the papers trembling in my hands. The room spun, the scent of old wood and ink suffocating. They'd done this. My parents, who'd taught me to be honest, to work hard, had stolen my future, elegantanto. Stanford, my dream, my future, erased with a forged signature. I wanted to scream, to throw the papers at them, but I couldn't. Not yet. I needed to be smart, to play their game until I could escape. My phone buzzed in my pocket, pulling me back. A text from Mia. Find anything? I fumbled with the phone, my fingers clumsy, and snapped photos of the letters, the flash harsh in the dark. They forged my signature. Stanford accepted me. I hit send, my chest tight with rage. Mia's reply was instant. Those bastards, come over! Now I shoved the papers back, exactly as I'd found them, and locked the drawer. My reflection in the window looked like a stranger. Pale, sharp-eyed, no longer the obedient daughter. I slipped out, the storm masking my footsteps as I grabbed my keys and jacket. Going to Mia's to study, I called, my voice steady despite the chaos inside. Mom shouted from the dining room, Don't be late, Emma. Lily's tutor's tomorrow. I didn't answer. The rain stung my face as I ran to my beat-up Honda, the orchard-lined road to Mia's house slick and treacherous. Her porch light glowed like a beacon, and she was waiting, her dark hair pulled into a messy bun, her eyes wide with worry. Spill, she said, pulling me inside. Her living room smelled of coffee and cedar, a stark contrast to the cloying sweetness of my house. I collapsed onto her couch, the words tumbling out. They hid the Stanford letter. They forged a withdrawal. They lied to me. Mia's jaw dropped as I showed her the photos. Emma, that's criminal. Mail fraud, at least. She paced, her flannel pajama pants swishing. What else did they hide? Her question hit hard. I'd applied to other schools, backup plans I hadn't told them about. I grabbed my phone, logging into my email with shaking hands. There, buried in the spam folder, was a message from Reed College, Portland. Dear Emma Carter, we are pleased to offer you a full academic scholarship. My breath hitched. Reed, a prestigious liberal arts school 3 hours away. I'd applied on a whim, never expecting this. I got into Reed, I whispered. Full ride. They don't know. Mia's eyes lit up. You're leaving, aren't you? I nodded, the weight of it settling in, leaving Willow Creek, my family, Lily. It felt like betrayal, but staying felt like death. I need a plan, I said. They can't know until I'm gone. Mia grinned, sharp and fierce. Then we make one. Secret bank account, new phone, bus ticket, they'll never see it coming. We spent the next hour plotting, her laptop glowing with bus schedules and dorm details. I felt alive, like the storm outside had sparked something new in me. But as I drove home, Lily's silhouette from earlier haunted me. Did she know? Was she part of this? Back home, the house was quiet, the storm still raging. I crept upstairs, my room a stark reminder of my place, Lily's yoga mat already encroaching on my space. I checked my email again, Reed's acceptance glowing like a lifeline. I'd keep it hidden, just like they'd hidden Stanford. My phone buzzed. Lily, texting from her room. Where are my English notes? Need help. Always needing, always taking. I typed back, check your desk, and turned off my phone. The girl in my mirror wasn't the same Emma who'd trusted them blindly. They'd forged my future, but I'd forged my own escape. The next morning, the air was crisp, the orchard across the street heavy with the scent of wet apples. I stood in the kitchen, pouring coffee, when Mom bustled in, her charity event clipboard in hand. Emma, you're up early. Can you drive Lily to her tutor later? Her smile was warm, but it felt like a cage. Sure, I lied, stirring my coffee. I'd learned to play their game, to wear the mask of the dutiful daughter. Dad joined us, his tie slightly crooked, his mind on his board nomination. We're touring Willow Creek Community College tomorrow, he said, not looking up from his phone. You'll like it. Close to home. Good for helping Lily. My stomach twisted, but I nodded, the mask firmly in place. Sounds practical, I said, echoing their favorite word. Lily shuffled in, her pale face framed by messy blonde hair, clutching her phone. Emma, can we study together later? My head's killing me. Her voice was soft, but her eyes flicked to me, sharp and calculating. I'd seen that look before, when she'd accidentally spilled juice on my debate team notes last year. Maybe, I said, sipping my coffee, my mind on the secret bank account I'd opened yesterday with my orchard job savings. After breakfast, I drove to the orchard, the rolling hills of Willow Creek glowing under a rare sunny sky. Mr. Jenkins, the grizzled owner, was pruning trees, his hands rough from years of work. You look like you're carrying the world, Emma, he said, wiping his brow. I forced a smile, stacking crates of apples. Just tired. He squinted at me, his eyes kind but piercing. I left this town at your age. Family didn't approve, but I had to find my own path. You got one of those, don't you? His words hit like a lifeline. I nodded, unable to speak, the weight of my secret plan pressing against my chest. Back home, Mom was on the phone, scheduling Lily's next doctor's appointment. I slipped into the living room, pretending to read, but my ears caught their hushed voices from the kitchen. Once Emma's at community college, we can convert her room, Mom whispered. It'll be perfect for the charity office. Dad grunted in agreement. She's practical. She'll understand it's for Lily. My grip tightened on my book, the pages crinkling. They were already erasing me, planning my future without a word. I texted Mia. They're turning my room into an office. I need to move faster. Her reply was swift. Come over tonight. We'll plan the next steps. At Mia's, we sat on her porch swing, the valley stretching dark and quiet below. You need a new phone, she said, handing me a prepaid burner she'd bought. Use this for Reed. Keep it hidden. I clutched it, the cheap plastic a symbol of my rebellion. We mapped out my escape, small withdrawals from my savings, a bus ticket to Portland, dorm arrangements at Reed. They'll never suspect, Mia said, her voice fierce. You're too good at being their perfect daughter. I laughed, bitter and raw. They taught me that, didn't they? As we planned, my phone buzzed. The family one. Lily, can you grab my meds from the pharmacy? I'm too tired. I stared at the screen, her words a familiar weight. Mia grabbed my hand. Don't answer, she's testing you. I nodded, pocketing the phone. But as I drove home, Lily's text gnawed at me. Was she just needy or was she watching me, sensing my shift? I parked in our driveway. the house looming like a prison. Inside, Lily was on the couch, her eyes flicking to me. "You're acting weird," she said, her voice soft but edged. "Everything okay?" "Fine," I lied, heading upstairs. But her gaze followed, sharp and knowing. I locked my door, opened my laptop, and stared at Reed's email, its promise of freedom glowing in the dark. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, ready to confirm my enrollment. But Lily's words echoed, a warning. Did she know more than she let on? I needed to find out, and soon before my plan unraveled. The rain had stopped, but the air in Willow Creek hung heavy with damp earth and the faint tang of apples from the orchards across the street. I sat on my bed, the prepaid phone Mia had given me clutched in my hand, its screen glowing with Reed College's dorm confirmation email. It had arrived at Mia's address, a secret my family couldn't touch. But my victory felt fragile, overshadowed by the suspicion growing like a weed in my gut. Lily's sharp glance last night, her "you're acting weird" comment, it wasn't just her usual manipulation. She knew something, or at least sensed the shift in me. I needed more proof, and I needed it fast. I slipped the burner phone under my mattress, my heart thudding as I heard Mom's footsteps in the hallway. "Emma, you're up," she called, her voice bright but strained, like she was trying to keep the world from cracking. "Can you help Lily with her English essay? She's struggling again." I swallowed the urge to snap, to tell her Lily could figure it out for once. Instead, I called back, "Sure, in a bit," my voice smooth as the mask I'd worn for years. I needed to keep them unsuspecting, to play the perfect daughter until I could escape to Portland. Downstairs, the kitchen was a flurry of Mom's charity planning, clipboards, flyers, a half-eaten apple pie on the counter. Dad was at his desk, typing furiously, probably drafting another speech for his board nomination. Lily sprawled on the couch, her phone glowing, her face pale as she sighed dramatically. "My head's killing me, Emma. Can you just write the outline for me?" Her voice was soft, but her eyes flicked to me, testing. I forced a smile sitting beside her. "Let's look at it together," I said, grabbing her notebook. But my mind was elsewhere, replaying her words from last night, the way she'd watched me like a hawk. As I skimmed her essay prompt, something about Macbeth and ambition, I overheard Mom on the phone in the kitchen. "Yes, we're converting Emma's room into a charity office. She'll be at community college, so it's perfect timing." My pen froze mid-sentence, ink bleeding into the paper. They weren't just planning my future, they were erasing my past, my space, my identity. Dad's voice joined in, low and firm. "She's practical. She'll stay close for Lily." I gripped the pen tighter, my knuckles white. Practical. The word felt like a chain, each syllable locking me to this house, this town, this life. I excused myself, claiming I needed to grab a book from my room, but instead, I headed to the garage where Dad kept old files and junk. The air was musty, thick with the smell of motor oil and damp cardboard. I rummaged through boxes, my hands shaking as I pushed aside golf clubs and Christmas decorations. There, tucked behind a crate, was a small box labeled Emma College. My heart stopped. I pried it open, finding a stack of unopened envelopes, acceptances from UCLA, Berkeley, even a small liberal arts college in Washington. All postmarked weeks ago, all hidden. My parents hadn't just sabotaged Stanford, they'd buried every path out of Willow Creek. I photographed each letter with my burner phone, my hands trembling with rage. The evidence was piling up, but so was the weight of their betrayal. Back in my room, I hid the phone and collapsed onto my bed, the ceiling staring back like a blank future. My phone, the family one, buzzed. "Mia. Anything new?" I typed back. Found more letters. They hid everything. Her reply was instant. "Come over. We need to lock in your plan." I grabbed my jacket, my mind racing. I was done being their pawn, but I needed to be careful. Lily's suspicion was a ticking clock. At Mia's, we sat in her attic, the slanted roof creaking under a fresh breeze. She handed me a cup of coffee, her eyes fierce. "You've got the evidence. Now what?" I pulled out the burner phone, showing her Reed's dorm email. "I confirm my enrollment tonight, then I need a bus ticket and a way to move my stuff without them noticing." Mia nodded, pulling up bus schedules on her laptop. "There's a Greyhound to Portland next week right after graduation. I'll drive you to the station." We spent the next hour planning, small withdrawals from my orchard savings, a secret P.O. box for Reed's mail, a duffel bag hidden in Mia's garage. But as we worked, Lily's face flashed in my mind. She knows something, I said, my voice low. She's watching me. Mia frowned. You think she's in on it? I hesitated, the thought cutting deeper than I expected. Maybe. She's too smart to be clueless. Mia leaned back, her expression hard. Then you need to watch her too. Keep playing their game, Emma. You're better at it than they are. I nodded, but the weight of it all, Lily's manipulation, my parents' lies, felt like a storm I couldn't outrun. As I drove home, the orchard stretched dark and endless, their branches clawing at the sky. I parked, the house looming like a trap. Lily was in the living room, her eyes flicking to me as I walked in. Where were you? She asked, her voice soft but sharp. Studying, I lied, heading upstairs. But her gaze followed, and I knew I had to move faster. The next morning, the sun broke through Willow Creek's usual gray, casting golden light over the orchards. I was at the kitchen table pretending to review Lily's essay when Mom burst in, her charity clipboard overflowing with notes. Emma, great news! We're renting your room to the Thompson's son. He's starting at community college, and since you'll share with Lily, it's perfect. My fork clattered against my plate, the sound sharp in the quiet kitchen. My room, my sanctuary, with its faded blue walls and the desk where I'd written my Stanford essays, was gone. Share? I managed, my voice tight. Mom smiled, oblivious. Of course, honey. Lily needs you close. It's practical. Practical. The word was a knife, twisting deeper each time they used it. I glanced at Lily, sprawled on the couch, her phone glowing. That's cool, right, Emma? She said, her smile too bright, her eyes too knowing. I nodded, the mask slipping back into place. Sure. But inside, I was screaming. They weren't just stealing my future. They were erasing every trace of me. Dad walked in, adjusting his tie. The board loved our family's commitment, he said, beaming. Having you stay local, helping Lily, it's a great look for us. A great look. I was a prop in their perfect family image, nothing more. I excused myself, claiming I had to work at the orchard. Mr. Jenkins was there, hauling crates, his flannel shirt stained with sweat. You're quiet today, he said, tossing me an apple. I caught it, its skin cool and smooth. Just thinking, I said, biting into it to hide my shaking hands. He squinted at me, his weathered face soft. When I left Willow Creek, my folks called me selfish, said I was abandoning them. But sometimes you gotta choose yourself, Emma. His words hit like a lifeline, pulling me from the chaos in my head. How'd you know you were ready? I asked. He smiled, sad and wise. When staying hurt more than leaving. His words echoed as I stacked crates, the orchard's rhythm steadying me. I was ready, but I needed to be smart. Back home, Lily was waiting, her notebook open, her headache miraculously gone. Can you check my essay now? She asked, her voice sweet but edged. I sat beside her, skimming her work, but my mind was on the duffel bag in Mia's garage, now half-packed with my clothes. It's good, I said, handing it back. You don't need me for this. Her eyes narrowed, a flicker of something. Anger? Fear? You're being weird again, she said. Mom says you're stressed about college. I leaned closer, testing her. What else does Mom say? Lily hesitated, her fingers twisting her hair. Just that you're perfect for staying here. You know, for me. Her words were a confession, a crack in her facade. She knew about their plan, maybe not all of it, but enough. Right, I said, standing. I've got work. But as I grabbed my keys, my burner phone buzzed in my pocket. Read, confirming my orientation packet. I hid a smile, the taste of freedom sweeter than any apple. At the orchard, I slipped into Mr. Jenkins' office to check my email. The packet was waiting at Mia's, another step toward Portland. I texted her. 1 week until graduation. I'm buying the bus ticket tonight. Her reply was a single word. Queen. But as I drove home, Lily's words gnawed at me. Perfect for staying. She was part of this, wasn't she? I parked, the house's windows glowing like eyes watching me. Inside, Mom was setting the table, her charity flyers scattered. Emma, you're just in time, she said. We're planning your community college tour tomorrow. I nodded, my mask tight, but my mind was already in Portland, my ticket to freedom burning a hole in my plans. The sun hung low over Willow Creek, painting the orchards gold as I stood on the high school auditorium stage, my diploma a heavy weight in my hands. The crowd's applause was polite, scattered, drowned out by the buzz of parents snapping photos of their kids. I scanned the seats, finding Mom and Dad focused on Lily, who was already planning her own graduation next year, her phone glowing as she texted friends. My navy blue dress, Mom's choice, sensible and forgettable, felt like a costume for a role I no longer wanted to play. I was Emma Carter, the girl who'd aced every test, who dreamed of Stanford, who'd just confirmed her enrollment at Reed College in Portland. But to them, I was still the dutiful daughter, the one who'd stay in this small Oregon town forever. I stepped off the stage, my heart a tangle of pride and grief. This diploma was supposed to be my ticket out, but my parents had tried to chain me to Willow Creek, forging my signature to kill my Stanford dream. They didn't know about Reed, about the bus ticket hidden in my jacket, about the life I'd planned in secret with Mia. As I joined the crowd, Mia found me, her grin fierce under the auditorium's harsh lights. "You did it," she whispered, slipping a small box into my hand. Inside was a silver necklace, the word freedom, engraved in delicate script. "For what's next?" she said, her eyes shining. "I'm driving you to the bus station after graduation, one way to Portland." I clutched the necklace, its cool metal grounding me. "Thanks, Mia," I said, my voice thick. She squeezed my arm. "You're almost there. Don't let them pull you back." But as we walked toward my family, I felt their pull, like gravity I'd fought my whole life. Mom was adjusting Lily's scarf, her charity clipboard tucked under her arm. Dad clapped my shoulder, his smile more for the crowd than me. "That's my practical girl," he said, his voice loud enough for nearby parents to hear. "You'll do great at community college, helping Lily and supporting the family." The board was impressed with our commitment. I forced a smile, the mask I'd worn for years. "Sure, Dad." But my mind was on the duffel bag in Mia's garage, packed with my clothes, my books, everything I'd need for Reed. They thought they had me trapped, but I was counting down the hours. Mom chimed in, oblivious to my racing thoughts. "We're so proud, Emma. We've got your community college tour tomorrow, and we'll map out your schedule to fit Lily's appointments." Lily, sitting on a folding chair, looked up from her phone, her pale face framed by blonde curls. "It'll be fun, right? Like, we'll be college buddies." Her smile was too bright, her eyes too sharp, like she was testing me again. I nodded, my throat tight. "Yeah, fun." But my fingers brushed the necklace in my pocket, a reminder of the freedom waiting just beyond their reach. As we posed for family photos, I stood slightly out of frame, just like always. Mom fussed over Lily's hair, Dad shook hands with a board member, and I slipped away, texting Mia. "They're planning my schedule already. I'm sleeping on the couch tonight." Her reply was instant. "Your room's gone? Screw them. You're out in a week." I glanced back at my family, their perfect image glowing under the auditorium lights. They didn't see me, not really, but soon they'd have no choice. Back home, the house felt smaller, its walls closing in. My room was unrecognizable. Lily's yoga mat sprawled across the floor, my bed pushed against the wall, my desk buried under her clothes. I grabbed a blanket and headed to the couch, the lumpy cushions a stark contrast to the life I'd planned at Reed. My burner phone buzzed. Reed's orientation packet had arrived at Mia's, complete with dorm keys. I hid a smile, tucking the phone away as Mom's voice echoed from the kitchen. "Emma, don't forget Lily's tutor tomorrow," I called back. "Got it?" But my mind was already on the bus to Portland, on the life I'd claim in 7 days. As I lay on the couch, the orchard outside whispered in the breeze, its branches scratching the window like a warning. I'd been their perfect daughter for 18 years, but I was done playing their game. Graduation was over and my escape was closer than ever. But Lily's sharp eyes, her knowing smile, they lingered in my mind, a reminder that I needed to stay one step ahead. Tomorrow, I'd play along, but tonight, I dreamed of freedom, of a future they couldn't steal. The dining room table was set with Mom's good china, a rare effort to mark what she called new beginnings. The scent of roasted chicken and apple cider filled the air, but the warmth felt forced, like a stage play for an audience of one. I sat across from Lily, her blonde hair pulled back, her face pale as she poked at her food, sighing about a headache. Mom hovered, cutting her chicken, while Dad raised a glass, his charity board nomination speech polished and ready. To family, he said, his smile wide for the neighbors invited to this celebration. I lifted my glass, my lips barely touching the cider, my stomach churning with what I was about to do. The evidence was burning a hole in my pocket. Photos of the Stanford acceptance letter, the forged withdrawal, the hidden envelopes from UCLA and Berkeley, all tucked into an envelope I'd prepared last night. I'd spent the day at the orchard, Mr. Jenkins's words echoing, "Choose yourself, Emma." His carved wooden box sat in my duffel at Mia's, a symbol of the strength I'd found. Now, as Mom passed the mashed potatoes, I knew it was time. I couldn't wait until graduation's end. The weight of their lies was crushing me. I needed to confront them, to break free before they locked me in tighter. "Emma, you're quiet," Mom said, her smile tight as she glanced at the neighbors. "Excited for community college?" Lily looked up, her eyes glinting with that familiar mix of innocence and calculation. I took a deep breath, my hand slipping into my pocket. "Actually," I said, my voice steady, "I need to show you something." I placed the envelope on the table, the paper stark against the white tablecloth. Mom's smile faltered. Dad's fork paused midair. The neighbors exchanged glances, sensing the shift. I opened the envelope, pulling out the printed photos, each one a piece of their betrayal. "This is my Stanford acceptance letter," I said, sliding it across. "And this is the withdrawal form you forged with my signature." Gasps rippled through the room. Mom's hand flew to her mouth, her eyes wide. Dad's face reddened, his jaw tight. "Emma, this isn't the place," he started, but I cut him off, my voice rising. "You hid letters from UCLA, Berkeley, every school I applied to. You planned my life without asking, decided I'd stay here forever to take care of Lily." Lily's fork clattered to her plate, her eyes filling with tears. But I didn't stop. "You raised me to be independent, then punished me for it. I'm done." Mom's voice cracked. "We did it for the family, Emma. Lily needs you. We thought." "You thought you could steal my future," I snapped, standing. "I got a full scholarship to Reed College in Portland. I'm leaving next week." The room fell silent, the neighbors' eyes wide with shock. Lily sobbed, her face buried in her hands, but I saw the guilt in her trembling shoulders. She'd known, hadn't she? Maybe not everything, but enough to play along. Dad stood, his voice low and dangerous. "Sit down, Emma. You're being selfish." I laughed, the sound sharp and bitter. "Selfish? You forged my signature. You lied to me. You taught me to be capable, then tried to trap me." I turned to the neighbors, who sat frozen, their plates untouched. "Ask them about family values," I said, gesturing to the photos. "Ask them how they kept me here for their image." Mom reached for me, tears streaming. "Emma, please, we can talk about this." But I stepped back, my heart pounding with a mix of pain and liberation. "There's nothing to talk about. I'm leaving." I grabbed my jacket, the bus ticket and burner phone safe in my pocket. Mia was waiting outside, her car idling under the orchard's shadow. I glanced back one last time, seeing Lily's tear-streaked face, Mom's trembling hands, Dad's clenched fists. "You'll regret this," Dad called, but his voice was hollow, his power over me gone. I slid into Mia's car, the engine's hum a promise of freedom. "You okay?" she asked, her voice soft. I nodded, clutching the freedom necklace. "Let's go." As we drove through Willow Creek, the orchard stretched dark and endless, their branches waving goodbye. My phone buzzed. Mom, Dad, Lily, their texts flooding in, but I turned it off. The road to Portland lay ahead, and with it, a life I'd built myself. But Lily's tears lingered in my mind, a crack in my resolve. Had I been too harsh? Or had she played her part in their plan? I'd find out soon enough, but for now, I was free. Or almost. The Greyhound bus rumbled through the dark, its engine a steady hum beneath the patter of rain on the windows. I sat near the back, my duffel bag tucked between my feet, the freedom necklace from Mia cool against my skin. Willow Creek faded behind me, its orchard swallowed by the night, but the weight of my family's betrayal clung like damp air. I'd left them in chaos. Mom's tears, Dad's threats, Lily's sobs echoing as I walked out with the evidence of their lies on the dining room table. My burner phone stayed off, its silence a shield against their desperate texts. Portland was 6 hours away, and with it, Reed College, my full scholarship, my new life. But freedom felt fragile, like a dream I could still lose. The bus smelled of stale coffee and worn leather, its dim lights casting shadows across the faces of strangers. I pulled my jacket tighter, Mr. Jenkins' words from the orchard echoing, "Choose yourself, Emma." I had, but the cost was heavy. 18 years of being the dutiful daughter, the caretaker for Lily's chronic fatigue syndrome, the prop for my parents' perfect charity image. It was all unraveling. I'd confronted them, exposed their forged Stanford withdrawal, their hidden acceptance letters from UCLA and Berkeley. I'd claimed my future, but Lily's tear-streaked face lingered, her guilt a question I couldn't answer. Was she a victim like me, or a player in their plan? A woman across the aisle, her gray hair braided neatly, caught my eye. She smiled, her hands folded over a worn novel. "Long trip?" she asked, her voice warm. I nodded, hesitant. "Portland?" She introduced herself as Clara, a retired teacher heading to visit her daughter. "I left my hometown at your age," she said, her eyes distant. "Family didn't understand, thought I was selfish, but I needed to find my own way." Her words hit like a mirror, reflecting my own escape. "How'd you know you were ready?" I asked, echoing the question I'd posed to Mr. Jenkins. Clara's smile softened. "When I realized staying would break me more than leaving." I leaned back, her story settling into me. The bus swayed through the Willamette Valley, its hills dark and endless. I'd been broken, hadn't I? By Mom's dismissive smiles, Dad's practical expectations, Lily's endless needs. But I'd rebuilt myself in secret. Bank account, bus ticket, Reed's scholarship. Clara's voice pulled me back. "You've got that look, like you're running towards something big." I smiled small and real. "I hope so." She patted my hand. "You will." As she returned to her book, I stared out the window, Portland's lights faintly visible on the horizon. Freedom was close, but the road felt long. I dozed fitfully, waking as the bus pulled into Portland Station at dawn. The city buzzed with early morning energy. Coffee carts, joggers, the Willamette River glinting under a gray sky. I slung my duffel over my shoulder, the burner phone buzzing with a text from Mia. "You there? Kick ass at Reed." I grinned, texting back, "Just landed. Thanks for everything." The Reed campus was a short bus ride away, its red brick buildings nestled among towering oaks. My dorm, a cozy room with a view of the quad, felt like a promise. I unpacked, the wooden box from Mr. Jenkins finding a place on my desk, its carved initials grounding me. But as I settled in, my family's voices crept back. Mom's pleas, Dad's anger, Lily's sobs. They'd try to pull me home. I knew it. I turned on my burner phone, ignoring the flood of texts from my old number. One email caught my eye. Reed's orientation schedule starting tomorrow. I'd dive in, prove I belonged here. Not in Willow Creek's shadow. But Clara's words lingered. "Find your own way." I was trying, but the path felt unsteady, like the rain-slick roads I'd left behind. As I lay on my new bed, the campus quiet outside, I wondered what my family was doing now. Had Lily confessed her role? Had Mom and Dad faced their lies? I'd find out soon enough, but for now, I was here. And that was enough. The Reed College quad was alive with autumn leaves and laughter, students sprawled on blankets, their laptops glowing in the crisp October air. I walked to my research methods class, a stack of books under my arm, the freedom necklace glinting in the sunlight. A month at Reed had transformed me. Late-night study sessions, debates with professors, a research project that had earned me a spot at a national conference in Washington, D.C. I was Emma Carter, not just the girl who'd escaped Willow Creek, but a scholar, a thinker, a force. Yet my family's shadow lingered, their emails piling up in my burner phone's inbox, each one a tug at my resolve. My research partner, Ethan, jogged up, his dark curls bouncing, his laptop tucked under his arm. "Ready to crush Martinez's project?" he asked, grinning. Ethan, a sophomore with a knack for statistics, had become an unexpected ally, his competitive streak matching mine. "Born ready," I said, matching his grin. Our project, a study on community resilience, felt ironic given my family's unraveling. We'd spent weeks analyzing data, our late night coffee runs turning into debates about life, dreams, family. He didn't know my whole story, but he sensed the weight I carried, never pushing too hard. In the lab, we prepped our presentation, graphs and charts spread across the table. Professor Martinez stopped by, her eyes sharp. Emma, Ethan, your work's exceptional. I'm nominating you for the national conference, first freshman ever selected. My heart leapt, pride flooding me. Thank you, I said, my voice steady despite the thrill. Ethan high-fived me, his excitement infectious. We're going to DC, baby, he crowed, making me laugh. For the first time in years, I felt seen, not as a caretaker or a prop, but as me. But as we packed up, my burner phone buzzed. An email from Mom, subject line. Please, Emma, we need you. I hesitated, then opened it. Lily's failing her classes. She's struggling without you. Your father's board position fell apart after the neighbors talked. We're in counseling, trying to fix things. Come home. My chest tightened, guilt creeping in like fog. Another email followed from Dad. Your mother's having panic attacks. Is this what you wanted? I shoved the phone in my pocket, my hands shaking. Ethan noticed, his brow furrowing. Everything okay? I forced a smile. Just family stuff? Back in my dorm, I stared at the emails. Their words a familiar trap. They'd lied, forged my future, yet here they were, begging me to fix their mess. I texted Mia. They're falling apart. Lily's failing, Dad's board is done. Her reply was swift. Not your circus, Emma, keep shining. I smiled, but the guilt lingered. Had I broken them by leaving? Or had their lies broken themselves? I opened my laptop, finding a new email from Lily. I hate you. Everything's worse now. Mom and Dad fight constantly. It's your fault. Her words stung, but I saw the manipulation, the same tactic she'd used for years. I started to reply, then stopped. They needed to learn without me. Ethan knocked, takeout bags in hand. Study session? He asked, his grin easing the tension. We spread our notes across my desk, but my mind wandered. Ever cut off family? I asked, testing the waters. He paused, chopsticks midair. Not cut off, but I set boundaries. My dad wanted me to join his business, but I chose this. He gestured to our notes. You gotta protect your path, Emma. His words echoed Clara's, Mr. Jenkins', Mia's. A chorus of support I'd never had at home. As we worked, my phone buzzed again. Mom pleading, Lily needs you. Please call. I turned it off, focusing on Ethan's voice, our data, the future I was building. The conference was weeks away, a chance to prove myself beyond Willow Creek's shadow. But Lily's email gnawed at me. Was she really struggling, or was this another play? I'd need to decide soon, respond or let them go. For now, I chose Reed, Ethan, the life I'd fought for. The quad outside sparkled with possibility, and I wasn't turning back. The Washington, D.C. Conference Center buzzed with voices, the air thick with coffee and ambition. I stood at the podium, my research slides glowing on the screen behind me, Ethan at my side, his grin steadying my nerves. The room was packed, professors, students, policymakers, all watching as I presented our study on community resilience. My voice, once silenced in Willow Creek, carried clear and strong, each word a brick in the life I'd built. Reed College had become my home, its oak-lined quad a far cry from the apple orchards I'd left behind. As I finished, the applause was thunderous, and Professor Martinez's nod from the front row felt like a crown. I was Emma Carter, not the dutiful daughter, but a scholar, a dreamer, a force. Ethan high-fived me as we stepped off the stage, his eyes bright. We killed it, Emma! First freshman ever! And they're already talking internships. I laughed, the sound light and real, something I hadn't heard in myself back in Willow Creek. The freedom necklace Mia had given me glinted under the conference lights, a reminder of the road I'd traveled. 6 months ago, I'd walked out of my family's house, their forged Stanford withdrawal, and hidden acceptance letters burning in my pocket. I'd left them in chaos, Mom's tears, Dad's threats, Lily's sobs, and boarded a bus to Portland, to Reed, to a life I'd claimed for myself. Back in my hotel room, I opened my laptop, the city's skyline twinkling outside. An email from Mom waited, its subject line soft. We're trying, Emma. I hesitated. my finger hovering over the delete button. Her words were measured, different from the desperate pleas of months past. "We're in counseling. Lily's learning to manage her own schedule. Your father's board loss was a wake-up call. We were wrong to control you to forge those letters. I don't expect forgiveness, but I hope you're happy." My chest tightened, a mix of pain and relief. For the first time, I saw honesty in her words, not manipulation. Another email followed from Lily. "I'm sorry, Emma. I knew about Stanford, not everything, but enough. I was scared to lose you. I'm trying to do things myself now. It's hard, but I get why you left." Her words stung, but they carried a new weight. Accountability. I leaned back, the city's hum filling the silence. They were changing, slowly, painfully, just as I had. I'd spent years being their caretaker, their prop, but leaving had forced them to face their own flaws. I started to type a reply, then stopped. Forgiveness wasn't mine to give yet, but I could acknowledge their effort. I texted Mia instead. Mom and Lily emailed. "They're in counseling. Lily's trying." Her reply was instant. "About damn time. You good?" I smiled, typing back. "Better than good. Just crushed the conference." Ethan knocked, takeout bags in hand, his grin infectious. "Celebration dinner?" he asked, spreading Thai food across the desk. I nodded, the scent of curry grounding me. "Martinez says we're shortlisted for a research grant," he added, his eyes gleaming. "You're killing it, Emma." I laughed, the praise settling into me like sunlight. This was my life now. Not Lily's appointments, not Mom's charity, not Dad's image, but my own. As we ate, my burner phone buzzed. A text from Mr. Jenkins, the orchard owner who'd given me the carved wooden box before I left. "Heard you're shining out there. Willow Creek's proud." I smiled, picturing his weathered hands pruning trees, his words a tether to the town I'd escaped but still carried. I'd learned strength in Willow Creek, not from my family's lies, but from its quiet hills, its people like Jenkins who saw me when I was invisible. I texted back, "Thanks for believing in me." His reply was simple. "Always did." Later, alone in my room, I stood at the window, at DC's lights stretching like stars. My phone buzzed again. Dad, his first message in weeks. "I was wrong, Emma. Angriness doesn't fix this." I stared at the screen, the words blurring. Wrong wasn't enough. They'd stolen my future, forged my signature, hidden my dreams. But I'd fought back, built a life they couldn't touch. I typed a reply. "I'm glad you're trying. I'm building my own path." I hit send, my hands steady. They'd taught me resilience, even if they didn't mean to. I stepped onto the balcony, the night air cool against my skin. The city sparkled below, each light a possibility they'd tried to deny me. I'd left Willow Creek to escape their control, but I'd found more. A life where I wasn't a shadow, but a star. Mom's email said they were learning, and Lily's apology hinted at growth. Maybe one day we'd talk, find a new way to be family. But for now, I was free, soaring higher than their lies could reach. I touched the freedom necklace, its weight a promise kept. The view from here, my view, was perfect. I hope you enjoyed this story. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss touching stories. Leave a like and then comment below what you thought of the emotional stories. See you in the next video.